there are so many things that people think that, yeah, this is good for everyone. So human design is a tool which tells nothing is good for everyone.
Even just knowing your energy type is very, very validating, because then you start understanding, okay, this is why I do this is why I need rest or whatever, and other people see it as laziness or something. If you're burning out in life, I would highly recommend looking at your human design, because you will find exactly where your energy is getting leaked.
So that was also such a big revelation, that the people who are intimidated and they just vanish from my life for extended periods of time, that was because I was giving guidance when I was not supposed to.
I was trying to help all these different people whom I loved to heal, but they were not ready. And it was my teacher, again, teacher is Jupiter. So it was my teacher who told me that it's not your job to heal people. They have to come to you.
They used to teach that, you have to market yourself, you have to be a salesperson, fine, but you have to make them sign up with you today.
Yeah.
I used to feel that this is so wrong.
And I was fortunate enough to be enrolled in a course by Ontario government. It was a sales professional course. And I was fully hoping to find all of these strategies in that course. But what came up was totally different. Welcome to another episode of The Ineffable Mystic. And we have Dr. Nikita again today. Hi, Dr. Nikita, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for calling me again.
It was such a wonderful time before when we talked on the previous episode. There were so many realizations, so much wisdom that was channeled, and so many things we talked about, right? About our own spiritual journeys. And during our spiritual journeys, both of us have discovered human design, and I feel that we need to talk about it today. So, tell me a little bit about human design, what your understanding of it is.
Something I like about human design is that it is not at all generalized. Like, there are so many things which are generalized in today's world. Like, people should be like this, they should work these many hours, and there should be consistency, discipline. And there are so many things that people think that, yeah, this is good for everyone. So human design is a tool which tells nothing is good for everyone. Things work differently for each of us. Not only types, there are profiles. Like within a type, also, there are so many nuances, so many differences. Like you can't say, oh, I'm a projector, you are a projector, so we both are the same. Even that's not true. So I love how people understand themselves in their own unique way. And yeah, I love that about human design.
Yeah, that is the same understanding for me as well, because I'm someone who works on self-knowledge a lot, like personally, and I was always interested in knowing more about myself, like go deeper and deeper and deeper, go into my past lives, go into my astrology, everything. I found that if you don't know yourself, then you can't live like a very fulfilled life. It's because society tries to change us into something that they want. And since our childhood, like we are programmed in a certain way, and they expect us to do xyz because they think that it's best for us, and they don't allow us to make our own choices, so we don't know who we are.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
And it's a whole
Exactly.
journey to get to know yourself and come back to it. According to my human design, I have this hunger for knowledge, so I will keep on searching. And I was, until the time I came to human design, I always felt like, no, there's more, there's more, there's more. So it's only when I found human design, I'm like, yeah, now I'm satisfied.
Yeah, and it's no end. There is no end. You
Yeah.
can always know more.
Yeah.
I thought I was reading about gates, and then just recently I found out about the variables, and I was like, wow, variables are that deep. I
Yeah.
had no idea.
Yeah, and like in a particular time, you will have certain transits of certain planets going on, and they will activate certain other gates and other channels and other chakras, and then
Yeah,
the whole thing changes. So this is a
yeah,
very dynamic science, and
I-
even just understanding your basic chart is a whole journey.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah, so tell us about the different types of energy types in human design first. So we can start from there, and then we will talk about each of our design or each of our energy types, so that
Sure.
we can make it more relatable, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. So there are five types, and the first two types are generator types, which have consistent energy on a daily basis, the generators and manifesting generators. So these are almost 70% of the total world population. So it is like if they work hard today and they do something they really enjoy, they're gonna sleep and wake up with the same amount of energy every single day, given that they do something they are really passionate about, and they don't get stuck into the I should do that, oh, I should do that. So if they are doing something they are really joyful about, then they wake up with the same energy. So this is the like generator type.
Mm.
And the third is the projectors, who are like they have the ability to see deep things in people. So they are very good at guiding others in channelizing the generator population in a certain direction. Like you mentioned last time that you've been coming across so many projectors in terms of mentors, coaches, and coach and all. So this kind of thing generally suits projector because they are able to see something that a lot of people are not able to see about themselves. And these are approximately 22%, or yeah, around 20 to 23%.
Yeah.
And these are the people who should not try to work hard every single day, even if they are very passionate about it. So these are the people who have to stop when they first realize, oh, I can't take it any longer. But it's really hard for them to understand that sometimes, conditioning happens. And it's really hard to understand that it is the time to just take a step back, which is a very good part for generators. Like they have this inbuilt system because of their defined sacral, that they know, okay, this is it. I'm tired, I'm done. And the fourth is manifestors. These are the people who are here to initiate things. It's like a king energy. Like, you know how when there is a war going on, suddenly king tells everyone that this person has to do this and this team has to do this. They order and everybody gets ready because he initiated. The whole army gets ready and they are able to protect themselves because of their energy of initiation, and everybody comes into motion. But they're also a little bit, because of that, not understood, because nobody wants to take orders. So there are only few people who would understand the initiation energy and won't be intimidated by a manifester. So yeah, their conditioning is that even though people don't like them, it's okay, because that's how your energy is. Their conditioning is usually becoming people pleasers, like very bad people pleasers, because they just don't understand like why people hate me, like what did I do. They don't realize they are intimidating, but it's not their fault. That's how they're supposed to be. And the last one is the reflectors, the wisest of all. They are around 1 or 2%. And it's like all of their centers are open. So they are very much in tune with their environment, with the moon cycles, with planetary, whatever is happening in our planet systems, because they are able to just reflect everything that's going on in their environment. If the environment is very peaceful, joyful, they feel the best. But most of the environments are not like that. We have a lot of work cultures which are little toxic. So that is the major problem for reflectors. They feel like they don't have any energy because they have to be in those environments. So these are the five types, energy types.
Even just knowing your energy type, that okay, I am this, is very, very validating, because then you start understanding, okay, this is why I do this. This is why I need rest or whatever, and other people see it as laziness or something, right?
Yeah.
So my husband is a projector, and he never wanted to work like the whole day, and he's like smart work over hard work, and he will just finish something like very quickly and then sit around for the whole day, and everybody would call him lazy or whatever. And even now he's like that. He made a checklist of the job that he wanted. So that included only working for like 2 hours or 3 hours a day, but getting paid for the whole 8 hours. And if anybody had looked at that list, they would say that, oh, this is nonsense, this won't happen. But he made a checklist and then got the exact same job, and he's been working there for 5 years now. So,
Wow.
and he's totally, happy with it. On the other hand, if it was me, I'm a generator, I would have needed something for the whole 8 hours to be doing. I can't just sit around like that. Right.
Yeah, you feel like you want to put your energy so that it gives you happiness.
Yes, yes, it gives me
Yeah.
happiness. And I'm a generator, and I've always been doing something or the other, right? I do need my rest periods, but I know, like, okay, this is enough, and then I rest. But I have noticed that, I was working according to other people all my life, and
Yeah.
I was not doing what I like, I was doing what everybody else likes from me. So my energy, completely got drained by the time I was 25 or so. And then I knew that, okay, no more, I can't do it anymore. And then when I started following my own ways, people started, rebelling. They didn't they didn't support that. So now I just do whatever I feel like, whatever I feel good doing. And I actually notice it very well when I am doing that, something that I think I should be doing. And then it drains my energy, and I just get burned out very quickly at that time,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
if you're burning out in life, I would highly recommend looking at your human design, because you will find exactly where your energy is getting leaked and how you
Yeah.
run yourself at your optimal energy, so that either you don't burn out, or you know how to prevent burnout, or if you have burned out, you will know how you can get your energy back, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like that is a misconception in generators that just because they have consistent energy, they won't get exhausted. Like, yeah, if they work according to their shoulds, what other people expect them to do, and don't really follow their authority, and they are just conditioned to say yes to people a lot and don't listen to their inner no, it's a recipe for burnout,
Yeah.
even if they are generators or manifesting generators. So doing things in response, following your authority is such a crucial part to save our energies, be it
Yes.
whatever. Yeah.
And this is 70% of people out there. So I would say
Yeah.
majority of the society is a generator, and they are getting burned out because they just don't know their energy, they don't know themselves, and they're just working according to other people's desires. So getting to know yourself, getting to know your own desires, and then working on them will give you energy, and you will feel good at them. And being a generator, you will know immediately when something comes up, like when an invitation for an event comes up and you love that type of event, you will feel excited immediately, right? But then your mind comes into the play, and your mind will say, oh, but my parents won't allow it. Oh, but I would be seen as such by the society. I don't have confidence to network or whatever. Then you will
Yeah.
start to pull yourself back, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pay attention to that first gut response that you get that makes you excited for something. And it doesn't have to be for big things. It could be for small things. Like you wake up and you feel like, oh, let's go to that coffee shop. And then you say, oh, it's a waste of time. It's too hot outside, whatever. So don't follow that, but follow your own, follow the first instinct that comes up when you wake up and you want to do something. Go ahead and do it. And you will have really good results from it, energetically and otherwise, manifestation wise as well.
It works really good if the generator types are into spirituality, because their energy works the best in response, and they get fueled with a lot of energy if it is in response to some kind of thing in their environment.
Hmm.
And when they are spiritual, so either there will be angel numbers or there will be some kind of guidance coming through, like, just straight guidance coming through, and you are always responding to that.
Yes.
So it's like you get that kind of a thing, stimuli from the environment very easily, because you know that, oh, something is guiding you always, something is always giving you an opportunity, and you get to decide whether it's good for you or not. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's actually very powerful being a generator, but majority of the society doesn't realize their own power because generators have a very, I would say, expanding big aura that can go
Yeah.
around and find opportunities for you. It can find good things for you and bring it in your life. But just because we work according to other people, we contract our aura and we are not able to, get those things. Uh, we actually have a very magnetic attracting aura, and
Yeah.
if you are living according to your design, things will just automatically come to you. You don't even have to go out and initiate,
True.
like manifestors. So
Yeah.
we should be like manifesting machines. The whole world should be actually fulfilled if they followed their design, but they are not, clearly.
Yeah, yeah, their aura is like that when they are in their joy, when they are doing things they love, opportunities just flood them. They
Yeah.
see opportunities everywhere. Only when they are so drained, like they have no energy, the opportunities don't show up as much because you're not ready for that. So
Yeah.
yeah, doing things you really feel happiness and passion about, that works for majority of the population.
Yeah, it should work, but it is not because we don't know ourselves.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about projectors, since you are a projector.
It was so validating when I first got to know that I was a projector, just like you mentioned about your husband. I also used to feel like, why am I exhausted all the time? Like, people do so many things. I know women who do so much work in their house, and then they do jobs and so many things. I was like, how are they doing it? Like, I cannot. I cannot function like that. And sometimes urgent things come up, deadlines come up, and I have to finish few things in a stretch of time for a long time. I do it because I have a defined ego center. So my willpower is really good, but that's not conducive for my type. Like, I exhaust myself because my sacral, I'm not listening to my sacral. I'm not listening that, you're done. I'm like, oh, I need to do it. I know I can do it. And I'm going to burn myself out because of it. So since I got to know I was a projector, I was like, yes, I always knew it, that I needed more rest. And a lot of my friends like would always come to me for relationship advice for a very, very long time. Like, anytime they may be not talking to me for a year, and if they have something related to relationships or something with their family, I had no idea that why they would come only to me. And I was not very old at that time. I have always been young, but they knew that she understands things so deeply. And I would be surprised that there are so many people. You have so many friends you hang out with, but for advice, you come to me. Okay, there must be something special. So it was very validating. It was like, yeah, I can see people deeply. And this is like very affirming for that this is a gift for me. So that one was also very good. Like, yeah. And think that you don't have to initiate things. For projectors, feeling rejected is such a big thing. Like, so many times I would try to help my friends out. I would see that they are going in for a really terrible thing and they are suffering. I know why they are suffering. And they would come and tell me their problems, but they don't want solution. Okay, they are just venting out, but I am seeing it and I want to tell them. And whenever I would tell them, it would intimidate them and they would just, go away for a very long time. And I would just feel that, what did I do? Am I a bad friend? Why are they not talking to me? Why are they pushing me away? It was just that they were not ready for it. because they did not invite me for sharing my guidance. So that was also such a big revelation, that the people who are intimidated and they just vanish from my life for extended periods of time, that was because I was giving guidance when I was not supposed to. I was not invited and I was scaring them away. And that's like, it helped me understand myself and also help my relationships, with my friendships. So I no longer scared them away. And so now they come to me when they want guidance, and I'm like, yeah, good.
Yeah, it's the same for my husband as well. Like he is able to see right through people's BS, whatever they are putting up, all the masks. He's able to see right through them like an X-ray, and then he'll tell
Yeah,
you exactly, okay, this thing is wrong. And that can be very, very jarring for some people who are not ready, right?
yeah, yeah,
So being with a projector, it has helped me actually to open up to such guidance and fix my shit because I was not ready for some things, and he would point out things because he's my husband, so he can, and he did. And it took me some time to realize that okay, whatever he says is actually working, and I should try listen to him more and think about what he says. And I started doing that, and everything just actually, as you said, projectors are here to show the way for generators. That was the same kind of dynamic with my husband as well. That he shows me the way, he tells me the ideas, and then I am the one who works on those, and then things turn out really really well. And all the friends, it was the same for him as well. All the friends he had, he would tell them that okay, this is wrong, you're doing this wrong, do this instead, and they would not accept it, and then they would vanish. So
yeah,
he is now, he's like, I don't have any friends, but I'm perfectly fine with it because he knows his strengths now. So I've told him that wait for people to ask you. Even in his office, he used to tell people, then I used to tell him that wait for them to come to you for advice. And since he started doing that, he feels that not only his energy is better, he feels better, but also people stick with him more because now
yeah.
they are valuing his advice instead of running away.
That's so true. Like, sometimes people come back to me for after 2 years, after 3 years, because they need an advice. They recognize me. It's just that I have, I can't do it according to my timing. It's according to their timing.
Yes. So in a relationship dynamic, like when you know the other person's design, it also helps to know how other person feels good, right?
Yeah,
So like when we have to go somewhere, let's say we have to go to an event or to go on when we have to go to a trip, it's better if I ask him that do you want to go here, and then he
yeah,
says yes, then he gets excited. If he comes up with something, then he is like always teetering on the thing, he's never committing to the trip or whatever. So when I ask him, then he feels better to respond and then say yes, I want to go there, and he gets excited, and then he gives me ideas related to that place.
yeah.
Right.
And we love, like, projectors love open-ended questions. Like, if I'm asked, like, do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Like, yes and no questions, I blank out.
Yes.
I am like, there's so many feelings I'm having right now. I don't know. If you allow me to just speak my mind, maybe I will know. So the questions that help me a lot as a projector are, how are you feeling? How was your day? Hey, what happened with your meeting with that person? So it's like I am allowed to talk. That makes me feel so loved. Like when
Yes.
my husband asks me an open-ended question, I tell him that once in a while, can you ask me this? So, and when he asks me like that, I feel so happy. I feel so much seen. I feel like, yeah, somebody cares about me.
Yes. And it will be different for me. Like if somebody asks me so many questions, I get irritated. I'm like, don't ask me. If I have something to say, like I'll come home and I'll tell you myself, but don't ask me.
Yeah, that's true. It does not work for non-projectors. And if you ask generators or manifesting generators an open-ended question, they don't like it
Yes,
because their sacral doesn't tell what to do now because it's too many things at once.
yes.
But if
And
you just ask them, do you like this? Then they know.
yeah, and it's even in small things. Like it's so funny. Like my husband always teases me by saying that it's been 6 years and you've not told me the favorite song that you want to play, because he always asks me like, what song do you want to play on the speaker? And I'm like, I don't know.
So many choices. Yeah, you should
Um,
just play a song and then I will know I like it or not.
yes. And he has the
Yeah.
best playlist. Like he always says that he makes friends by sharing his playlist because he's a projector and he knows what kind of songs will be hit with everyone. So he has like a proper playlist on Spotify, and whenever he wants to make friends, he just sends that playlist to everybody. And then they're like, "Bro, that was so good!" Like,
Like it is unimaginable that what projectors shine in.
yes,
Like I am good at relational dynamics, understanding people, but some people are good at non-human things also, and they are so good at it. Like just they will understand the depths, how things work and everything. So it's not just about human beings.
yeah,
They can be excited about depths of any random stuff as well.
yeah, definitely. So I haven't met any reflectors yet. I only one
Yeah.
reflector I've met until this date, and she was also very confused because again, reflectors are very less in the world, so
Yeah.
there are less people to relate to, and also out of them, how many are studying human design? Not many, right? So
Yeah.
she came to me and she said, that, I'm a reflector, help me understand my chart. So we went into her chart and googled everything that was there on the chart, and she expressed her concern that she was always confused, she was always overwhelmed, always feeling tired. She was always looking at other people and not able to focus on herself or what she wants. That was because she was in a toxic environment at her work where one person was constantly you know abusing her, basically, right?
Mm.
So there, but she couldn't change her job. Right? So I
Okay.
told her, I gave her this advice that she can create a safe space at her workplace, and
Yeah.
maybe a little corner, maybe the bathroom or whatever works, and she has to retreat to that safe space constantly throughout the day, right? And as much as possible maintain distance from that coworker who is always creating problems for her. And the same thing was at home. She was surrounded by manifesting generators, manifestors. Her mother was, I think, manifesting generators. So always that chaotic energy all the time. And she was basically carrying on those people's energies and then feeling drained, right? So
Yeah.
again, maintain your distance as much as possible. Spend time with them during the day in a particular time slot, and then have a safe space inside your home where you surround yourself with all the things that you like, that make you feel calm, and then retreat to that space throughout the day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And secondly, whenever she had to make a big decision, wait for one lunar cycle, and then whatever comes up in her intuition, follow that. And that is how you have to go through life. But she was very, very kind of like irritated by being a reflector. She was like, why do I have to do all of this? Why can't I be like generators? So it's a whole journey for a person to really get to know the design and then practice it, and then see, okay, now I'm feeling really good. So then once you start practicing it, you get to know what else you can do to harmonize your energy and feel good about yourself, even for being a reflector, because being a reflector, you can be so much full of wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you are in spirituality, then you can share all of that on social media or with your friends and family. And it will be such a great thing to have, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's a
Definitely.
reason that they're only 1 to 2%, a few percent, right?
Yeah, because they are so in tune, so only few of them can give a lot of wisdom to all of us. But
Yeah.
also, I feel like it is little bit disappointing at first because reflectors generally, I have observed that their growing up time was not easy
Hmm.
because of so much conditioning. Because you just do not relate to your friends, your family, or anybody, and you feel like you are somebody nobody gets.
Yeah,
And
and they're very
because
sensitive also.
they're they're quite sensitive. So it's like when I have a reflector friend, actually two of them. So I used to think, oh, she is so much like me. Whenever I would share something with her that, I'm having this experience, that experience, and she would just get me.
Hmm.
And it would feel like that I am such a soul sister to her, and she's such a soul sister to me because she just gets me and she's just like me. But that's not true. With reflectors, it feels like they're just like us, but they are like neither of us because
Yes.
they are just reflecting back to us our energy. So that is why we may feel like that they are like us, and we may try to, throw at them things that we may like, but they do not like. So they feel misunderstood. They feel like, oh, I don't get it. Like, and they just um align with different things because their element is surprise. So when they are the happiest and in alignment, they feel surprise. So it's like they are going to experience other people, they are going to experience something else after every year, after certain amount of time. So it is okay if you are in a reflectors person's life, that you give them that autonomy, that they can shift their interests. That if they used to go movies with you every Saturday for 1 year, and they suddenly decide, no, I want to go camping, let them do. Don't stop them, because that's what works for them a lot.
Yeah,
Because
and yeah, I think being like a mirror to somebody is also a superpower, because all the other designs, they are so kind of, I would say, full of ourselves, you know.
yeah,
But the reflectors are the one who can exactly show us who we are, because they are a mirror. And
yeah,
but it's bad for them in a way if they don't place these boundaries, if they don't have a retreat space, if they don't know who they are themselves. So it can be bad for them in that way. So it's very important for reflectors to actually study their human design, right?
yeah, yeah. And something that is empowering for
Hmm.
everyone is to study the profiles, because profiles are like every profile has some good and some bad. So the if I have my profile 4 by 6, another friend of mine who's a reflector, he is also a 4 by 6. So we will relate even though our energy types are different.
Hmm. Yeah.
So the profile gives a certain grounding to the reflectors, because the profile tells you that, yeah, you are like this.
Hmm.
Instead of telling you you are not like anybody else, it tells you who you are. And so that also brings a little bit of sense of self, like who you are. Okay, this thing works for you. And yeah, so profile, I love talking about lines. Like we have 6 lines, one, two,
Hmm.
three, four, five, six. And with that, we have so many profiles, like as a fraction, like I am a 4 by 6, you are a 5 by 1. I love talking about those. I have had so many revelations because of my profile also.
Yes, definitely. And I would say our profile is more like a life theme, or you can say you can get to know your main life purpose or life theme from there. And that theme will run throughout your life, like in whatever you do, that theme will stay in the background. And if you follow it, then it's like your expression. So your expression is coming out everywhere, like in your career, in your art, in your relationships, in whatever you do, right?
Yeah, like I not only the whole life theme, I also understood that why I need to have a community around me. Like space is not one of my most important need. If a person has a 2 in their profile, Like my husband is a 6 by 2.
Mm.
So he has a 2 in his profile. He needs space to show himself creatively, to get the creative ideas and work on those things. He needs space. He thrives in space. But I, on the other hand, I thrive when I have people who love me around me because of the 4 in my profile, 4 by 6. So I have a brother who's a 2 by 4, and he also, like, with 2 by 4 it's slightly confusing because they love space and they love community.
Yeah.
But I have such a good understanding. Like, we talk for hours because we don't have much conclusion related talks. We just have like usual talks. Hey, how's it going, and what happened with this and this. And I love that kind of a bond where I can just, connect with someone so deeply, and it makes me feel so happy. So like it makes me feel recognized. So my profile helped me understand that, okay, like with few people, like with threes, space is required, freedom is required. So I cannot be clingy to these people because they will push me away.
Mm.
So with people who have a 3 in their profile, I try to not mind when they just disappear from my life for some time. And with 2s, I know they consistently need some space. And I know that I need a community, so I connect with more 4s. And the 5s, my Guruji is a 5, like has a 5 in his profile, and you have a 5 in your profile. So the content you guys share is amazing. Like, you just love how you explain simple things in such a profound way. And once, like if you are watching a content by a 1, you know that it is thoroughly researched. You won't just put something like that without caring about,
Yeah.
okay, maybe true, may not be true. You are going to have a thorough research, make sure it is true,
Mm.
and then do something. So I love this line thing a lot, like how it shows up with people.
Yeah, it's like it adds more flavor to your
Yeah.
energy type. And my husband is also 2/4, so he is definitely like always wanting to talk to people and have family and all those things, but then they don't understand him. So he's always getting, betrayed by them, always getting hurt by them. But then I tell him like, why do you talk to them then? But it's his need for the
Need,
family ties and
it's a
all those
need.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he also needs his space. So when he was employed in this job that he has right now, he told his boss like, don't come at me, don't try to micromanage me. He said it in a good way. I like, give me space, only then will I be able to get the creativity out, because he's a photographer, he needs that space. Otherwise you are not going to get good photography from him, because he needs his space, right?
Yeah.
So his boss knew that, okay, he can't micromanage him, right from the very beginning. Like, he was upfront
Yeah.
about it, and yeah, so rest is history. And
Yeah.
me being a 5/1 profile, like, now I look back, I know that I was living my profile all this while, like all my life. So even when I was a small child, I have a sister who is 3 years younger than me. I would, when I used to learn something in school, like in science, I still remember like the first time I learned about photosynthesis. I was so excited. I came home. I was like, "Do you know how plants make food?" And I told her everything about it. And like that, I would teach her so many things that I learned in school that I was excited about. And then when I went to college as well, I was a teacher in my class. So we used to be 100 students in, BDS. And I was the one who people came to understand things better, because I
Wow.
would study everything. I'm a very quick learner. So I read something once, it's there in my brain forever. Like, you know,
Wow.
so I would read things and then I would, understand it in my own way. And I was able to connect totally unrelated subjects in the background. Like, I was able to find connections with things, different things. And then when people came to me to learn, I would, I would teach them in my own way, not in the way that the book has, written, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not in the way that the teacher has told us,
Yes.
especially
Yes.
if there is a boring teacher that, teaching that subject, so people would come to me instead. And there were times when during the final exams I would have all this like 5 to 6 people group sitting around me,
Wow.
and I would just give them the lecture just before the exam, and then they would just go and write all of that down, and they would pass, and they didn't study before. So I was like helping all of them pass in their exams. And then in post graduation as well, because you have to give presentations in your post graduation, you have to present your cases, you have to present certain topics, like you are the teacher, they're training you to be a teacher, right? So I would again go into these such difficult concepts and put them all down like in bullet points, flow charts, and images, diagrams that I created myself. So I would just do that, put that in the presentations, and everybody from teachers to my um, um, all my classmates, they would be so impressed with it, and they would wait for my presentation, like when my turn comes, because they wanted to understand a subject more deeply. So they would wait,
Yeah.
"Okay, when is Rio's presentation?" And I used to be so bad at it because I'm not a very good speaker, but I'm a very
Oh.
good writer. And I have like a I used to have a very big fear of public speaking. And
Mm.
it was very difficult for me. The presentation day would be like, oh my God, it's like a final exam thing. But for other people, it was a really good day because they will get to understand so many things. And now
Yeah.
I'm doing the same thing in spirituality as well. And sometimes I find myself that I am going into like too much detail, or too much, like I'm presenting facts in like big paragraphs. Then I remember that, okay, I am 5'1", this is my gift, that I can make it uh, better to understand for people. I can break it down better. So let me just go into that and create a flow chart instead, instead of putting the whole paragraph there. So like that, I have to constantly like remind myself that I can apply that here as well,
Yeah.
right? And because I'm an heretic investigator, so heretic means that you are not doing what everybody else is doing. You are not
Yeah.
copying content, you are not saying the same things that others are saying, but you are giving your own flavor to the things, and you are taking up topics that other people might not be. You're going into the depths that other people might not be going. And then investigator line helps me, again, as you said, I don't just put everything online. This was my like USP before, and now as well, that I'm not going to share anything that I have not experienced. So
Mm.
if I make a video about Reiki, it's only because I've experienced it. If I make a video about, let's say I had a ghost encounter, then I'm only going to share it because I had it, and I, have my own take on it. So that is my superpower, I would say.
Yeah, you need to feel very secure in
Hmm.
what you're gonna share. Like you need to feel very confident that this is really the truth. And then you feel like sharing. Like, yeah, it exists, even though the world doesn't believe it. You don't care about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've had such comments on my videos that, you are on drugs, or you've gone mad, or whatever. I'm like, okay, if you think so, but this is my experience, and I can't deny my experience, right? So
Yeah, like
yeah.
because you are a 5'1", actually, you should let people know that this is not coming from just one experience. This is
Yes.
coming from so many experience after I have already like found confidence in myself. Because unless I have it, I'm not gonna do it because it's your profile. You cannot.
Yeah, and I investigate everything. Like whatever new thing comes up, I am going to Google it. I'm going to attend classes for it. I'm going to get experiences for it. And only when I confirm that, okay, this exists and this is how it happens, then I'm gonna explain everything about it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so all those bullshit comments don't matter.
Yeah, even about human design, when it came up initially, I was like, oh my god, is this another, another modality that just, tells you, okay, you are this and that, general stuff. There can be a tendency in like astrological readings to give you like general stuff if you are not going to a good astrologer. So
Yeah,
I was like, is this again, some similar stuff? But then I was always intrigued by human design, so
yeah,
I started getting posts by people about being a generator, and when I started relating to it, and it was very, very specific, then I started studying about human design more.
yeah.
Again, that's my
Definitely.
investigative nature.
Unless you have a lot of material to understand from, you're not gonna believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the same with spiritual concepts. Like, I have
Yeah.
understood some very tough concepts in spirituality. And also, my husband has also helped me do that because I've talked to him about certain things, and then he would come up with things that I didn't think about. So, he has helped me understand those spiritual concepts very deeply. And then I experience those things, and I have more to share. And then I share those concepts in a very easy way for people to grasp.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And with tours, there's also this quality that they are naturally good at something, and they may not know it, but the world knows it. Like they sometimes feel that, oh, I don't know, like they just enjoy doing it. So it's like for tours, it's not really required to go in depth and, invest so much energy learning something, gaining a skill, and then doing it. They actually are inbuilt
Yes.
having that skill. So they just
Yeah.
need to be reminded from other people.
Yes, and I see that in my husband as well. He is naturally good at so many things, and he would just, start something new and then know everything about it. Like, I'm like, you never studied it, but he just knows. And just yesterday, we were talking about this. Like, we were watching a documentary about UFOs, and they were telling us like how they came about defying gravity. Like, they have gravity drives and all of those things, and my husband was like, but I knew this as a small child. Like, I was born with this knowledge that, okay, the UFOs have a gravity drive, and he used to tell other children about it. Do you know that UFOs have a gravity drive? Like, they can defy gravity. That's how they are floating, and that's how they are not affected by, the G forces and all of that. And
Oh
you know
my God.
like that, he was born with certain knowledge that other people don't have, that we are just discovering right now. And like, even when we are talking about these things, like the conspiracy theories in a very deep manner, like, he's the one who would point out certain things, and then I would make the connections. And I'm like, oh my god, those Sumerian gods were seven, and they also carried something like a kamandal with them. And so it's like, are they Saptarishis? Like, were they Saptarishis in
Oh,
Sumeria? Because they did the exact same thing as Saptarishis did for Indian
God.
civilization, and they looked the same, and they were seven in number, like that.
Wow.
So he
That's
would bring up
pretty
certain
good
things, and then,
information.
yeah, he would bring up, and now we watched that in a documentary recently. Even the researchers are get coming to the same conclusions, but it's like he's pointing things out, and then I'm making the connections, and then we are understanding a lot about these things in a way that other people might not be able to.
Wow.
Mhm. And sometimes I'm
Amazing.
like, we had this wonderful conversation, we should have recorded it, like put it on YouTube. It was so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it is good. Like, how he's giving you clues, you're joining them up. It's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, tell me about the shadows. So it's not like everyone has everything figured out, right? We have not.
Yeah.
So everyone has shadows, and we understand from human design that we have certain things that we need to work on, and there are certain strengths that we carry, but we also feel comfortable in those strengths. We tend to not
Yeah.
come out of those and work on new things, uncomfortable things, difficult things. but we are supposed to work on them because we are to evolve into this other version of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So then our shadows come out. There are certain things that um, stop us from making that growth. So can you tell me more about that?
So we know that there are 9 centers in human design. So the first part of understanding your shadows or conditioning is through the undefined centers.
Hmm.
So I have my G center as undefined. Throughout my life, I have wondered, what am I supposed to do? What is my purpose? And the undefined G center people are also after true love.
Hmm.
They are crazy about true love. Like, I want to find that one person who I connect with. And what is my divine purpose, the thing for which I was made, and what is it? All of this was conditioning, all of this was shadow. I'm not supposed to know my purpose because my purpose evolves every moment.
Hmm.
The people who have their G center defined, like, they would know that, they are going in this direction. This is the direction that is their ideal direction. They know themselves. They know that, I am an introvert. I'm this kind of a person. I like my space. I do not like it when people talk to me about these things. They know their value system quite strongly. But undefined G center people, they most of the times get so influenced by other people's identities around them. Like, my husband is a defined G, and I am an undefined G. Now, having known human design and worked on so many things through life coaching and spirituality, I know my values. But there was a time when I would get so enmeshed with his identity. I would feel that, yeah, I am also like this. I'm exactly like him. Because I am in that environment for so long, I feel like that. But I'm not like that. And I will feel that, oh, this purpose, this person's purpose is this. So I also should have this purpose. I'm not supposed to know. People are so crazy about that. You don't even know what you're meant to do in life. That's so discouraging. No, I'm not supposed to know. Today, I know that I'm into human design. I love talking about it. After 10 years, maybe I'm in something else. After 5 years, maybe something else motivates me more. And that's completely fine. You're not supposed to know in a defined way what you are. You're supposed to evolve. And one example that helps me a lot is Priyanka Chopra.
Yes.
So she has undefined G, and she has been a singer, she has been Miss World, she has been an actor, and she has been a motivational speaker. Like, recently, the way she speaks, it's so motivating. And that she has not held herself back just because she kept evolving.
Hmm.
She allowed herself to go in the direction that the universe presented her.
Hmm.
So that's what an undefined G should be. Just allow yourself to change, allow yourself to go in a completely different direction. You're meant to do that. And undefined head center, that was such a revelation. I was a Buddhism practitioner for 10 years, and I used to be always worried about other people's problems. Oh, my YWD members are facing this issue. They are having this issue in their home. I should go and help them. I should go and help this person. I should go and help this person. I should go and help that person who I don't even know, but I just know that they have a problem. I just met them. And an undefined head center is not supposed to focus on other people's problems because they are not here to do that. They are going against their design if they focus on other people's problems. Unless, they are a projector and are invited, like, to actually solve that problem. Just don't care about it because you're going to be rejected and you're going to exhaust yourself. That's not what you're supposed to do. So each of those centers, like, if you are somebody with a undefined emotional solar plexus, so you get so influenced by other people's emotions, and that influences your decision making. So sometimes the person in front of you is fearful about something something you want to do. But to you, your sacral says, yes, I
Yeah.
want to do it. So you do it. You just take some space from that person who's feeling sad about it or has some kind of an emotion around it, and just go to a space and then see what your sacral response is. So the undefined centers present us so many shadows.
Yeah. So in my chart, I only have two defined centers, the G center and sacral. So
Okay.
even then, like I was still conditioned in my G center because I was looking at other people on my life and thinking that, okay, they are doing this, I should also do this. And even now, like looking at other people's content and oh my God, they started reels. Okay, they started this type of reels. I should also start, But then I had to step back and look at, okay, I'm not meant to copy other people. First of all, I'm heretic. So I should come up with my own type of content, right?
Yeah.
And I should not try to copy what they are doing, but I should try my own different types of reels and different types of content types and then see what works and then or whatever makes me feel good and then do more of that, right?
Yeah.
And you can see the difference in the content that I was making before and after I understood human design, and you can absolutely see the difference in my energy
Yeah.
there, right? And it will also show up in your results. People will DM you. People now DM me. They say that, okay, you look so good, you look so energetic, you look so radiant. Not only that, but also like you have started posting, like every post you do is like really banger content. How do you do that? And I'm like, it's just happening naturally because I am in my energy right now. Before, I used to struggle with content. I didn't have any ideas coming to me because I was trying to be someone else. So now that
Mm.
I am myself, I'm resting in my G center, my identity, and my profile. Now ideas are just coming to me all the time. I open the notes app, and whenever an idea pops up, I just enter it there, and I have like a mile long notes for that now. I don't have any dearth of content now. So this is how it happens. Like if you're feeling blocked anywhere in your life, that means your energy is leaking somewhere in relation to that. So
Yeah.
when you study your human design, you will know exactly where you need to create a boundary or do something differently so that you are able to gain that energy back and then use it in a way that actually helps you instead of draining you,
Mm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, like as you said, head center was open, and my spleen is open, my solar is open, my throat is open, third eye is open, everything is open, root is also open except sacral and G. So I had to actually develop all of those qualities. So I have
Yeah.
actually gone through like a really detailed, long self growth journey so that I can
Definitely.
help other people with that as well, right?
That's true. The especially for generators, if they have so many centers open, they are very sensitive to
Yes.
energies.
Yeah.
Projectors, obviously, but generators too can be so sensitive.
Yeah, and from my defined G center, I always knew like I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this type of people, I don't like. I knew that I would never be able to do a job, but then because of societal conditioning, I forced myself into those situations, thinking that this is what's expected of me, this is what I should be doing, and then there was a time when I used to feel like in my chest, I used to feel like there's a huge hole because my energy was non-existent in this place, and then it affected my heart you know
Yeah.
so all my energy just drained from this area because I was not living my design in such an extreme way, right?
Yeah.
And I went to so many people. I went to my doctor telling that why do I feel like a huge hole is there in my chest. He's like, what is that? Doctors don't understand such things, right?
Yeah, doctors don't. Yeah.
And neither did any other spiritual practitioner that I went to. They also didn't understand why I was feeling so. It's only when I started practicing human design that I started to fill that hole, and now I feel complete, right? and it
Yeah.
can affect you physically as well. Absolutely, all the energy that is draining, it is draining from your organs, I would say.
Yeah, if you're a defined G and you're not allowed to be your authentic self, it
Mm.
disturbs you. Your
Yeah.
heart feels it because you know who you are inherently, but the conditions the society puts on you, they're not allowing you to be that. And it feels out of place because they want to exist a certain way. And also the other centers, them being undefined. So there was a lot of conditioning from those centers.
Yes, I know. I was a completely different person. Like, if you would look at me even 1.5, 2 years ago, even up till that time, I was still improving, improving, improving. I was like, how much removed was I from myself that I'm still improving when I'm 32 years old? Like, I'm still, getting to know myself. So you can actually feel the difference between people who have not been conditioned. Like, if you look at certain influencers, they are 18 years old and they are making such good content and doing such good work in the world because they have not been conditioned.
That's
They
true.
are so confident inherently. They just know what they are here to do because their parents encourage them instead of stopping them, and they are doing it, right?
Hmm.
And we, because we are so conditioned, we are coming to that now after 30 years.
Yeah, yeah. It takes time, and you cannot compare your journey with other
Yeah.
people's journey because the things that have conditioned you is completely different from those of others, and it shakes up your sense of self, and that has to be repaired first.
Yes, yes. And there are certain shadows when it comes to your, like, the main planets, like the sun. So when
Yeah.
you look at your sun gates, then you can come to know, okay, this is my shadow. So for example, for me, my sun on the right side, on the personality side, is 35, and that is um, the gate that is meant for adventure. The shadow of gate 35 is hunger. So basically,
Oh.
as long as I'm hungry for knowledge, hungry for adventure, hungry for certain things, then that means I still need to, work on that thing. I need to go after it because the
Hmm.
next gift is adventure, right?
Okay.
So when I have hunger of something, that means I'm meant to go in that direction and
Okay.
have adventures related to that thing. And when I have adventures, that is how I'm fulfilling my purpose, right?
Hmm.
And then the siddhi means when you've mastered that gate, is boundlessness, meaning
Hmm.
that you are completely free, you're boundless. Nobody is stopping you, and you are not stopping yourself,
Yeah.
right? So when I was hungry about spiritual knowledge, I adventured in it by actually going and learning, having the experiences, and other people tried to stop me all they could, but I didn't stop, right? Now I've reached boundlessness, meaning that I don't feel bound by other people, I don't feel bound by myself, right? And there's boundless knowledge also coming forward,
Yeah.
right? And another gate, so the gate opposite 35 is 5. So that gate is the gate of waiting.
So
This
this is
is
your
where,
earth, or this is
yeah,
uh, gate 5 is your earth.
yes, yeah. So the shadow of gate 5 is impatience. Rise,
Oh yeah,
right?
this one
Yeah.
was the one you shared. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember. Mm.
So because Earth is in gate 5 means impatience is what will make me feel ungrounded,
Yeah.
right?
No. So, okay, you first go ahead. I will share later.
Yeah, I'll explain. So because the shadow of that gate is impatience. So that is where I will have a lot of impatience, which I do have. Like, I want things to be done like right away. And because I'm a very fast individual, I learn very fast, I do things very fast, and I just but the reality is not that way. The reality is slow. You manifest things slowly. because it's a 3D reality, it takes time to adjust, right? And when there are other
Yeah.
people also involved, then it becomes even slower because they have to come around to doing things, right?
Yeah.
And this happens in my business as well. Like I would want clients because I feel ready right now to share a certain type of knowledge, but clients are
Hmm.
not ready right now,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So I have to wait. So again, waiting is something that is involved in these two gates as well. And so I have impatience, right? And
Mm.
that is my shadow. Basically, I don't have to
Yeah.
stay being impatient. If I do, then I won't feel fulfilled in my life, right?
Yeah.
So I have to move to the next thing above impatience, which is patience.
Hmm.
Patience is my gift. So when I develop patience, that will be my gift, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have to consciously remind myself whenever I'm being impatient about something to be patient instead. And then the siddhi of that gate, meaning the expert energy of that gate, is timelessness. So, meaning if I ground myself in the idea that it's not that something has to happen now because everything is happening at the same time. Past, present,
Yeah.
and future
Oh,
are the same,
yeah.
right? So it doesn't matter if I get clients today or if I get clients later because
Oh,
I'm in this timelessness state, right?
yeah.
So if I feel like sharing something, absolutely share it, but it doesn't mean that other people have to receive it today,
Yeah.
right? So this is something that I have to develop over time. So I'm still like in the impatient patient, that to and fro is
Mm.
happening, right? So again,
Yeah.
like you can go so deep with human design, and then it becomes a whole journey, right?
Yeah. I like your way of explaining also. So, how I understood is if you do not resonate with the highest expression of your sun gate and you resonate more with the lower expression of the sun gate, then you have to work on your earth.
Hmm.
Try to work on your earth, try to incorporate that. You will naturally shine in the higher expression of your sun. So for me, the earth is the gate of mountain and it is gate 52. So that means if the lower expression is that I can be a couch potato, just sit and do nothing and eat and just exist without thinking because scroll and you
Hmm.
are avoiding self reflection, you are avoiding introspection, you are avoiding making a plan for yourself, writing what you want to do, and instead just sitting and doing nothing. So this is a lower expression. And if I'm able to go to the higher expression, that means I'm able to just sit in meditation with silence in my brain and feel peaceful, then I'll be able to have highest expression of my sun gate, that is gate 52, 58, the gate of joy. So I remember I have been naturally a very joyful child. Like I'm always just laughing and jumping around and doing things, like just laughing all the time. But there was a phase in my life where I used to feel a lot of rejections and I used to not smile. Like I used to feel that something is weird with me, like I'm weird or something. I'm so like, why I keep smiling, because people used to reject and also tease me for always smiling. So then I stopped because I thought that something is weird with me. But when I started meditating and self reflection, instead of just wasting my time away, I'm naturally joyful. That thing just comes up, like existence in pure joy. And yeah, so it's like making yourself, as you shared, that your impatience in making you ungrounded. Yeah, so grounding ourselves into our earth gate so that we can shine in our main sun gate.
Yeah, again, like if I have the impatience and the hunger, both of the like lower expression, then I'm just going to follow that direction. That is my key as well. Like if I'm having impatience and hunger about something, then I should go deep into that.
Yeah.
and make it an adventure while being patient with it.
Yeah.
Right?
You can play with all of them together.
Hmm.
Yeah. And another thing I learned was that your Jupiter gates shine when you are able to work on your Saturn gates. So a lot of people do not resonate with their Jupiter gates because Jupiter is supposed to be a gift. They're like, I don't resonate with it. Like, I don't have this. Like, what is this? But it is going to show through only when you have done the Saturn. You have healed through your Saturn. My Saturn is gate number 13 and my Jupiter is gate number 48. So, gate number 13 was more like uh, allowing people to speak to you
Yeah.
and not really feeling bad when they do not let you speak because they are very good listeners and they remember stories from the past. So for me, it is very easy to just help people with my stories from the past. Like I just remember those things. And so I have to be very righteous in that. Like I can't share things which do the opposite of helping them with like crossing somebody's boundaries, gossiping. I can't do all those things. And when I'm actually doing it just to help them out, then my 48 gate shines, and that is the gate of depth because you're not caring just about the surface, you're going into the depths of things. And you love to understand everything, why this happens, why that happens, and just go into the deep of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have that insight before, like, but it makes such a good sense because you have your Saturn return, like everybody has a Saturn return at the age of 29, 28,
Yeah,
and that's when you get all these like challenges, big changes that come your way. And if you're able to learn from those challenges and work on yourself during those challenges, then you get rewarded, which is a Jupiter.
yeah,
So that makes really good sense. And my Saturn is also gate 13. So that is
mm,
something in common. And
wow,
gate 13, again, being the sounding board is what I have been all my life as well. And but I wasn't being a sounding board for myself. So
mm,
when my Saturn return came at that time, there was COVID lockdown. There was no job, nothing for me to do. So I had to start being a sounding board for myself at that time,
wow,
right? And then the Jupiter is my gate is 40. And 40, I have both on the conscious side and the unconscious side.
okay,
So the 40 is the liberated altruist. Basically, I have to be like an altruist, give away my whatever my gifts are, but also be liberated in a way. But I'll only be liberated if I take care of myself first, right?
mm,
So I can't be sacrificing my own needs for other people. And this is something I learned from my Saturn return. I had
yeah,
to, fill my own cup before
yeah,
I started helping people online.
yeah,
And also personally, I was trying to help all these different people whom I loved to heal, but they were not ready. And
yeah,
it was my teacher, again, teacher is Jupiter. So it was my teacher who told me that it's not your job to heal people. They have
yeah,
to come to you. And yeah, that was a big lesson that I learned as well.
yeah. And also it brings just acceptance. Like certain things are like that. Like I am a person for whom people will readily open up, but I have to see it as a gift. Instead of telling why are they venting out, okay, I have to work on my boundaries then.
Yes.
But being someone so like if my energy is making people easily open up to me, that is a gift.
Hmm.
I can decide how much I want to allow that. And but it is a gift. Like that means you can be a wonderful healer or a coach.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like that, like I was before, like, I was opening myself up to all these different people. And even now, like, sometimes clients come to me and they would say, I want a session today, today I want a session. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
today I can't do it. I only book for like tomorrow, or days after that. I can't just bend myself on the whims of others. So I
Yeah.
have to establish a boundary there. And sometimes for things like human design, where you have to prepare, I have only allowed booking after like 4 days. So you can't book for tomorrow, right?
Okay.
And this happens to me a lot of different times when people will say, I want a session today or tomorrow, and I don't have a opening. And then I have to tell them, you have to come next week. And if they agree to it, well and good. But sometimes, and I, in fact, most times, they don't. They go to somebody else.
Yeah.
So, as someone who was a people pleaser before, I would have been like, oh my God, I lost a client. But now I'm like, it's okay. They were not meant for me. They can go somewhere else, which works
Yeah.
for them better, right? So,
Yeah.
you really have to learn all of these things to optimize your energy. Otherwise, there are leeches everywhere. Otherwise, there are people who would try to overstep your boundary knowingly or unknowingly. Maybe their design is different. They want things faster, but you are not the
Yeah.
person who are going to give it to them, right?
Yeah, definitely. Something one most important revelation I had was about my emotional authority. So I have solar plexus defined. I'm an emotional person. Before I knew my human design, I was searching for something to help me. I was in the coaching business, I was an apprentice. It was so misaligned. It was highly misaligned because in the apprenticeship, they used to teach that, you have to market yourself, you have to be a salesperson, fine, but you have to make them sign up with you today.
Yeah.
I used to feel that this is so wrong, but I couldn't do anything about it because I have paid them to teach me something I want to know. So I used to just try to follow it, but I used to feel inside that this is something wrong. It doesn't even work for me. I have so many times felt this, that some business person is doing a discovery call with me and they are
Yeah.
like, that you are not serious about your life growth if you are sitting on this decision, and they would shame me for taking time, because
Yes.
right now maybe I don't have the finances, or maybe my intuition knows this is not right and I just need to be sure,
Yes.
and I need to figure out some things and know that is it risky for me or not. Even logically it was not correct, but now I realize that if somebody is forcing you to take immediate decision, that is wrong for you,
Yes.
just wrong for you. If somebody is forcing you, go in the opposite direction. So
Yes.
from human design, I've understood that the traditional way of marketing is not good way of marketing. It works for probably those sacral or splenic authority individuals who are very much in tune with their intuition and gut response.
Hmm.
Because they will be like, oh yes, I want to do this, I want to do this.
They would not
And or
even
they
need
will,
convincing at that point.
they won't need it. They will be just, know that, yeah, this is it for me. But for all the other type who needs time, who needs at least a day, for a lot of us, we need weeks. So for us, it just doesn't work. For more than 50% of the population, it does not work.
Yeah, and I feel that you are also like taking away someone's autonomy when you're doing this. You are treating them like a number and not a person. You are
Yeah.
keeping your sales numbers above what's good for your client actually. And when such a client comes into your business, yes, you're going to have the sale, you're going to have the numbers, but you're not going to get the same good results with these types of clients because
Yeah.
it's not an energy match, and they
Yeah.
stepped into this unwillingly, right? So they're always going to feel it. So your clients are
Yeah.
also highly intuitive. They can feel things, right?
But they have this, they are not good human beings, first of all, who do that, because to retain the client, they stick to shaming them again and again. So whenever, pure gaslighting. So if the client is actually able to understand the manipulations behind whatever they were going through and they bring it out, they will be just pure gaslighting and shaming you into believing that you don't do anything good for yourself.
Yes.
And that's such a toxic way of that there's such a toxic way of doing business.
Yes,
It's
and
just
this is something that many of us need to learn when we start our own spiritual business. And this also didn't resonate with me. And because I was learning to be a spiritual coach, and as a solopreneur, you have to learn to make sales and all of these things, right?
yeah,
So when I was learning from certain people and free content as well as paid content, I was coming across this a lot, and this just didn't resonate with me. And it was happening to me also. Like other people were
yeah,
trying to make a sale to me, and that I didn't want to, or I didn't know that this was not good for me, but they were trying to force it on me. And
yeah,
so that didn't resonate with me at all. It doesn't feel good when you get a like a cold DM or cold message, or even during a
yeah,
call when they try to push it on you. So I had to actually unlearn all of that. Firstly, I learned all of that. Then I had to unlearn all of that. And I was fortunate enough to be enrolled in a course by Ontario government. It was a sales professional course that was for free. They gave it to me, so I'm very grateful for it. And they gave me a credential for it as well. So it's a certificate, proper sales license that you get for a salesperson. And I was fully hoping to find all of these strategies in that course. But what came up was totally different.
wow,
Actual Canadian Professional Sales Association does not teach all of these things. They taught us such good sales. They taught us how to keep the client's autonomy, how to not convince the other person, try to help them according to what they need. And if your
yeah,
product is not for them, then tell them that, okay, my product is not for you based on XYZ, and instead you can take a look at this other product or this other company that you might be a good fit in. But do they teach all of this in on social media? No.
yeah.
And they taught us.
That is very integrity is so important, right?
Yes. And they actually listed the values. Integrity was one of them. They listed the values that you need to have as a salesperson. And there was a particular process, a particular structure to the sales call that they taught us that kept the client's interest on top. And
Wow.
it was like a coaching session with the client, but not exactly a coaching session. So basically you're helping them come to a decision that they feel good about,
Hmm.
right? Whether it's to go with your product or to not go with your product. So I
Yeah.
was very, I would say it was a God sent gift for me to have that knowledge
Mhm.
and be assured that this is a CPS says knowledge, not some XYZ influencer. So this is the
Yeah.
actual deal. This is how
Yeah.
sales are supposed to be done, but other people are doing it in a very misaligned way, right?
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't know that there was like this was so common.
Yes.
Like the correct way of sales was this commonly available to people. Like, wow, it's
Yes, and
amazing.
it's a very expensive course actually if you take it
Okay.
by paying. So I was grateful that they gave it to me for free. They were giving it to like women in Ontario to help them start their own
Wow.
businesses. So that was something very eye-opening because as someone who has been learning sales, trying to learn sales online, I've just come across the misaligned way, and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do business in that way. But knowing
Hmm.
that this is not the actual way, it really helped me be confident in the way that I wanted to take it forward. And I apply that to everything now, you know.
You manifested it basically.
Yeah, you can say that. And it was God like saying that, okay, learn this so that you can use it in your business. Again, generator.
Yeah, this is so good. Like opportunities showing up in such a easy way. Wow.
Yeah,
It's very good to know such stories because after having seen so many shaming ways of people selling a course, it feels really like I feel so happy that people are teaching something like that so that you can just respect people's autonomy and actually care for them, not
yes.
just care about money.
And this was not
It's a
even
good.
the spiritual sales that they were talking about. It's my
Yeah.
business that's spiritual. But the sales
Yeah.
that they are talking about are for any XYZ product. The teacher that we had was a elevator salesman. So he was someone from an elevator company, right? So those people, they can completely, throw out all the spiritual aspects or the keeping the client's interest on top aspects, because they have to sell elevators, right? But
Hmm.
even they were not doing so. So I was very happy to see this wonderful positive change that has come in the world, that the government is teaching such good things to these future sales
Yeah.
people, right?
Wow. This is so good.
Yeah.
And this completely takes away that, so in my coaching, that program which I was not aligning with, they used to share that if you're not charging this particular amount to people, they are gonna take advantage of it, and they're not gonna give value to what you're offering, which is true. Most of the times you have to charge according to what the program is worth, what energy you are giving. But also, being spiritual, sometimes you manifest in your reality things you really need, even though you may not have uh, the money to give.
Hmm.
And you actually are grateful for that opportunity and learn everything because you're in alignment.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
it also proves that the money thing is not 100% truth. Sometimes free resources can change your life.
Yes, yes. And if I had the option to sign up for this course, I would not have signed up, because I was under the impression that they are just going to teach the same kind of
Yeah.
marketing and sales. But it was the totally opposite of that. And I got to know that because it was free, it was given to certain women, right? So yeah, I always tell to whoever I have as a student, as a spiritual healer, and they want to start their own business, like, yes, initially you can do free sessions for practice because you are yourself not confident, and it's like a equal exchange there as well. You can ask the client for testimonials, you can ask the client for feedback, right? So that you can improve your craft, and therefore it becomes like a equal energy exchange, right?
Yeah.
And there will be clients that you will meet at that stage who will need the free healing, right?
Yeah.
And I was at that place as well. I also needed free healings at a time when I didn't have any money whatsoever,
Yeah.
right? My accounts were frozen because of my story, if anybody knows my story. So my accounts were frozen, I didn't have access to any money for like 2 years. So
Really?
I at that time was such a low point that I needed free healings from people, and I will have been fortunate enough that there were people who helped me at that time. And then when the time came, I helped them again, right? So it was like a unsaid contract, right? Unsaid exchange, that I will be helping you in the future when I'm at a place to help you, right? So no matter what stage you are in, if you are able to give free healings, do it. If you want to charge because um, it's your business, or it's your way of making a living, then absolutely charge for it, and you
Yeah.
will get those types of clients, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even at this stage where I am charging for everything, people do still reach out to me and say that I can't afford it, but I really need it, and because of XYZ reason. And then I do free healings. Even now, I gift healings. I do some other type of exchange. I might ask them to do something that they are good at for me, and if they accept, then we do this exchange, right? Or I ask them to donate something in my name. There are a number of different ways that you can still do good work for people who really need it but can't afford it, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be one or the other, right? I see this in society a lot, like black and white
Yeah.
thinking, that you
Yeah.
only have to do free sessions because it's spiritual, that you only have to charge because it's meant to be an energy exchange. No, it can be
Yeah.
both,
Yeah. That's
right?
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are no black and white in spirituality.
In life in general, I would say.
Yeah, that's true.
So we talked a lot about human design today, and we talked about sales out of all
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about autism a little bit? I think we should cover that as well.
Yeah.